Morning, good morning. I close my ashtray from the wood stove. So, and let's do the let's sit down. Cheers and mellow greetings. Be good, like Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes in the Demolition Man movie. Mellow greetings. Be good. Mellow greetings. So, today it's the funeral day. Guys, I told you yesterday about. Last time I was at funeral, this was my dad's, I think. And 100%. I wasn't on any other. It was my dad's funeral. My dad died quite early, like very early. He was like 49. And he had a cancer. Yeah. This was my last funeral. It was like, yesterday I talked about it with my girlfriend because it's her granny who died and whose funeral is today. And I told her that it was so weird that time. Like, sliding like pulling down like sliding down the coffin, like with the rope with my brother and uncles. Yeah. Let's have today some memory day. Today it's a memory on there because today it's a funeral we have. So I tell you something about my dad, yeah? He was a great guy. He was a tough, but not really also. Well, it's like when I see it now with some distance, maybe also because I compare it with other toughness what I experienced already in my life with other people. So he wasn't really tough. He was huge-hearted, but it's like he was the type of man who would never hug you. He would never give you a hug, like me. I'm talking about, not you. Maybe he will give you a hug, but he never gave me. And so he wasn't a cuddly guy, no. But he could show love different ways, many different ways. Like he would never even tell me, like, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying he did very good and he did his best, as I believe we all do. And the way he grew up and his parents were also a certain way with him. He was quite beaten up as a child. He has a really, really rough childhood. I remember my mom was talking about it because they were from the same village, like very small town. No, not even town. And when my dad was born, he had, I don't know what, guys, but he was sick as a small kid, baby. and his parents was like something. I mean, hey grandpa, I don't, and grandma, I don't need to speak about bad about you, and just what I heard, and that's the truth. You also did your best, I believe so. So they just put him away, and they didn't want him. And they had, he has, wow, now it's tough. He had brother and two sister. You know, this part of family, we did not really meet so much. Yeah. The relationship wasn't the greatest, like from that part, like, yeah. I didn't really meet my grandpa, his father, because he died when I was a very toddler age, I guess. So I do not really remember. So they put him away. They didn't want him. I don't know how that all went, but it's just that he ended up with his uncle and auntie. I remember them because a few times we visited them, and he was living there. Yeah, now I don't know if I remember correctly, but quite a long time. So, because he supposed to die, or like he was weak, and they just didn't want him. Yeah, this is when I'm thinking about it now. You know, the way I feel, and like I am with my daughter, and the way I see kids generally. I love kids. Yeah. I found it so disgusting. Like, this is unbelievable. But yeah, that's what happened that time. So I just woke up and the lights are so strong on my eyes. So they put him away because he was supposed to die as a child, as a baby, a newborn. And my uncle and auntie, they took care of him. They took him in. They didn't have a kid at all, and such a nice place. Sorry, I just remember we visited them a few times when I was like, I don't know, 10, 12. And uncle, he was, it was his uncle. I don't know what he was to me, maybe some great uncle. I don't even know where exactly, from what family he was. I don't really remember that. And he was like a ranger, like you know, these guys who is taking care of forests. I remember he had a deer at home taking care of, and like such a beautiful place. Yeah, they live like in a super nature spot, and amazing, and such a nice people. Yeah, such a nice people. And so he was growing up there, and I think he was like about 10, 12, I don't know, 10, 12. Can you imagine? So long living there. I think like about 10, let's say. And they took him back in, and they just said, hey, I don't know what they said, come on. But it's like they just want him back, his parents. So I think for the auntie, and this must be like a really rough time. I never really detailedly talked about it with my mom, and I will ask her definitely, but it's just that I do not think my dad really shared like such private stuff. He would never tell you, I love you, I like you, hug you. He never done that. Yeah. The touch what came from him was whether shaking my hands for my birthday, like all the best, or slapping my face when I did something. But I wasn't really beaten child there. Like, I really had to do like some bad things, then I get like, you know, not really. I wasn't really. My siblings, and we were not really. But here and there could happen, yeah. When I did some nasty things, like I don't know what. So this was his, like, he could touch me that way, but otherwise he wouldn't hug you. So I don't think he really shared something like, or I will ask, I'm curious how it went actually, because for the auntie and uncle it must be very hard. So he went back there and he was living there because, look, I heard a story like that and I will tell you the same story. So because they saw that he can work, they didn't have a farm or something, but they were working. And my dad told me, I remember, when he lived with his parents, that he had to give a whole salary to home. Yeah, so he was working then already from 12 or whatever, I don't know, like really early age. But later on, when we had a job, he was a bricklayer, so, and he was living there, so all the money what he had, he just give his parents at home. So they were, his brother, they were like living like that. Yeah. So they just took him back because they saw that he can actually move. He's healthy to work. Yeah. That's how I heard the story. Yeah. So according to that story, it's disgusting. I do not know. I never talked to Grandpa. I didn't know him. Grandma, we visit her few times already with my dad. That's the point. Yeah, when we were born, we were kids. My dad took my mom and kids, and we moved away like 120, 130 kilometers from our home. Yeah, so we were like 1.5 hour, almost 2 hour drive by car, like away from our, like, let's say, roots, our families, our uncles. And we were kids. I don't remember, maybe 2 years. I never remember that. So I grew up somewhere else, different part of the country. And here it's like the country, it's like it's you can be just 100 kilometers away in Czechia. And not the culture is different, but people are really different here. Like, it's so close. And when I look back, I do not appreciate that it happened. Yeah, because I was born in such a beautiful, amazing part of the Czechia. I think it's the one of the nicest part, like Moravia, close by Brno. It's amazing. But I grew up on the worst place. I think one of the worstest place in Czech, which is east part. Yeah. Which the place is known for, you cannot really trust people, so much aggressivity. Yeah, Moravia, where I was born, not grew up. People is known for wine, dancing, singing, you know, and yeah, I can feel it in me, this. And there I grew up. So whatever reason my dad had that he moved, that he wants to manage his life. And when I see myself, I also left everybody. I didn't move 100 kilometers, but I was traveling thousands of kilometers away. Whatever he had, that reasons that he wanted to be successful certain way, he started doing his business. He had a grocery store, and then he opened another grocery store. Yes, he could really, he well took care of his family, like he really did. Yeah, he had 3 kids, and my mom never was employed, as I remember. She was never employed. She worked in our grocery store, yeah, like this, yeah, but never had to go some to employment or whatever. You know, like it was their business, yeah. Yeah. So, and occasionally we went visit grandparents, but from my mom's side, yeah. Mom's side, like my mom's parents, which I'm in touch today. So I had my grandma. But the other part, they also live still in the town. It's interesting, yeah. But the mama, she moved long time ago. I was a child, I don't know, from that part. But the family, family, like his brother, his sister, they live around. His brother even live in the same town, like grandparents, for like a parents from my mom. Yeah, so we did not visit my uncle because he was a bricklayer all life, and it's not because he was bricklayer, but he was living. That's interesting. Starting, we did not visit him because he was bricklayer. That's weird, huh? Now, because I remember him just like that. I remember sitting him. I was just meeting him randomly when I went to shop. I was just 2 weeks summer. I was with my grandparents, and I was just like went to store, and he was just sitting in front of the store having like probably his 50th or 10th a beer, drunk ice, like super glassy, and sitting there. So there was also alcohol problem, So that he was a bricklayer. He was a hard worker, I guess. I always remember him, whatever like building was there, standing on the scaffolding. So we didn't visit him because they had not because he was a bricklayer, but because they had the relationship certain way, the parents. As a kid, I would probably say, hey, no, I would probably not say, we don't go there. No, I just went what the parents went, yeah, so I just followed. So they had some communication problem and all that stuff, so we visited his sister a few times, yeah. I think it was, yeah. So you can see that I don't even know this type of branch of my family tree, yeah. I would love to, yeah, but so much pain and suffering and hate and jealousy, and everybody try to prove something to themselves, yeah, that they made it, like my dad to his mom, because we visited his mom. I remember she was living hundreds of kilometers away from that town when I think she moved away when my grandpa, like my dad from my dad, my dad from my dad died, so she lived, and we visited her a few times. That's interesting, actually. We never did. He never did. When they left with us as a kids, that time when we were kids, we left 100 kilometers away. They were very in a bad relationship. Yeah, I remember they've been even calling police at each other and in their family. Yeah. So I think there was no talk a long time, and now actually I'm thinking back, I was, I don't know, 12, 13, 11, 10, something like that. We went to visit her, and she had a new man, like she had like a new partner. Yeah, we even slept there a few times, like a family, all of us. We met there. I don't know why did that happen, that they decided to, it was his mom, yes, so of course, yeah. But I think my dad, he had a lot of pain in him because of the way they treated him, yeah. He was beaten up, like really a lot from his dad, yeah. This was really a time. So he has a tough childhood, and when I'm talking about my dad, yeah, because I started with this because it's, I can see how well he actually managed the father's role, because the way, according to like what I heard about his childhood, the way he lived, yeah, this is crazy, and he was a great dad, yeah. He never hugged, he never kissed, he never said I love you, but the things what I remember he done, and the way he was with me and us and as a kids, and he loved to drive in a car, we loved to sing and have out loud music and open windows, yeah, and like going on the trips, because he loved to drive, so we many times just went on trips somewhere, and he was really like a cheerful, I don't know how to say it, he was like whenever I want something, he he always tried to make it possible, that I have it, whatever nonsense I wanted. This was my dad, So it was hard for him to give a hug. And not end, but when I really look back, the way that he was treated, that he was treated by his parents, he did like well. He definitely didn't copy his father on his kids. Behavior, like behavior wise. That's interesting because I hug my daughter not just 3 times a day. She's cuddly and she's just sweetheart. And I do not think she will not remember, but definitely I don't believe she will remember every hug. My daughter, because it's many of them. It's just I'm telling her I love her very often because when it comes some moments I just tell her. And so I don't think she's gonna really remember every that moment, but she will overall remember me. What I try to say here is that there is one moment I remember with my dad when I had tears in my eyes, what he has done. And later on when I was talking about it with my mom, or after he passed away, I talked about it, and or I think of it, it always brings me a tears. Because this was a moment where I really saw how he overcoming that thing, how proud he was of his son for multiple reasons, but also this was one moment what he never did, and I will tell you that story, and then I gotta go. It was when I was, how old I was? Wait, guys. I was like, hey, is my microphone working? I was 20, 21, maybe. Crazy. 21, 20. I was already that big, And I tell you something. So the story is, I wanted to go army. I was in that age when we all played all these games, Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, and Battlefields, and all these like crazy games. And that time I was 20, but I don't know exactly the age. It was around the time when was the terrorist attack on the Twins in New York, and the Americans they were having the war like that time. Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq. I don't remember Iraq, Afghanistan. There was something going on in that part, Afghanistan. And I just wanted to also saving the planet. I was that age, and I wanted to go army and getting rid of all the terrorists, because that's not good for the good people who try to build a good society. So I was like, terrorist has to go away. And I just signed up for army, but it's just not like this. So first time when I sign up, you have to go through so much stuff. First time, he brought me with the car. It was hundreds kilometers away from our home, that base, military base, where it was like a huge also hospital, and you just get there for 3 days, And 3 days they go through like all the health stuff, physical stuff, mental stuff, so a lot of psycho stuff, like a psychology question, therapies, and like talk with psychiatrists and specialists, and then many tests, and I was 3 days there and I didn't make it. I remember I did not make it. I didn't get there. And they said, you can try it after 1 year again. And I still cannot remember. And he picked me up, and I was so sad. And I saw already him, and it's okay then, and you try next year. I was crying in a car. Then I found myself a job, and I started working in like a huge company. It was a wooden company, like a huge sawmill, like a huge. And I was just working there. I was like, yeah, I would like to try, but it's like, again, yeah, next year, but it's like, you know, it's a year. Jesus Christ, it's a 1 year, a whole year. Jeez, it's so long, yeah. So it's like I didn't even think about it. You know what I mean? I just went after the work, met new people, buy like a sporty car. My dad bought it to me, and I was just paying him back. That I didn't have to overpay it, like loan or whatever. And I was working there. Well, and after the time came, it was like 10 months, 11 months, I was like, hey, that is the 1 year already. And I was like, I'm gonna do it again. So he again dropped me there for 3 days. I've done it. I passed. They took me in. And I said, hey, they took me, they picked me up, and he picked me up. I think it was like a summer, I guess. And I went in for like, then you have these kind of, what do you call it, the first 3 months, it's in the same base, and that is the hard time. Yeah. It's like, it's really hard. They're trying to destroy you in many ways, psychologically, mentally, like physically, because just the strongest we want to keep, yeah. So our group was like around 35 boys, and I don't know, not even 20 made it through. Doesn't matter, but this is maybe one day this story. And I remember it was a summer. I did the test when we were home. Of course, I did nothing because I was employed, actually from. I think I had the worstest time to start it there because I had the 3 months over winter, so it was like, whoa, as I was outside in a field, in a forest, winter. So I remember, I don't remember if it was October, November, December, but I do think it was through Christmas. It must have been November, December, January, or I don't remember, but it was a winter time. And he dropped me there. Yeah, he dropped me there. And I never forget this, and now it's coming. I never forget this. I was in front of the gate where I had all the papers for the first day to come. And we slept on, I was also on that base. I was actually living on that base, yeah. Wait. We went inside. There was the gate where I had, because only he went with me, and he turned at me. He grabbed my shoulder like this, and he said, "Good luck. Good luck." And that's all, guys. But the moment, what happened, like what was there, you know, the energy and all this stuff, it was a very strong moment. And for me, it was like very important later on. And because my dad, when he was at army, he loved that. There was a, look, I signed up for army because we do not have to, we have a professional army, so for me, there is no mandatory. But when he was 18, there was mandatory in, I don't know, let's say 90s, 80s, 70s, like there was mandatory. So you get certain age and you just have to enter the army for 2 years. In his time, it was 2 years. 2 years they were really there, just closed. And he many times talked about it when I was a child, and he just, for him, it was like one of the bestest time in his life too, because he enjoyed it, he loved it, he loved it. And he was so proud of me that I get there, and I wanted to be there too. So this was the strongest moment I had, like yeah. Let me know down below in the comment section. How is your parents? Can they hug? Or you can see that there is a struggle too. They had a hard life too. They do our best. They do the best, guys. We gotta give them a credit. Have a sweet day. And if you can, subscribe for more videos. If you cannot, like the video. Okie dokes. See you tomorrow.